Hello, everyone. I make these videos for you because I find it very helpful to actually make them for myself. It's kind of like I'm being a witness to my own growth. I am Lynn, Dream Girl Writer, and I have found great healing and wisdom and transformation within the messages of my dreams and have been doing a lot of work with my dreams and a lot of inner work on healing my relationships in this life and healing from past trauma. And I recognize today that I have seemed in the past to thrive on adversity. And I have done a ton of inner work in which I have uncovered my own covert agendas, so to speak, in this life, and been able to look at myself in the mirror and admit my responsibility for the failure of relationships and for the reasons that I have to heal from conflict because I started the conflict or engaged in it in the first place. But coming full circle back around to how one can thrive on relationships, on adversity and make that work, I think that the reason that it does work and the reason that I have found that it has been so instrumental in my healing and transformation and awareness, self-awareness, is because it provides a breeding ground for empathy. Because if you can see yourself as overcoming the worst situation, an adverse situation to your well-being, where you were either unsafe or you were being accused of something or conflicted by someone or something, or you were actually I should use the word I, was actually creating the conflict by fears or pain or acting out of, a wounded self. It has brought me around full circle to know that when I forgive myself, when I realize that I started that journey wanting love and needing love and ended up pushing or creating conflict and misunderstanding, I I have come full circle to understand that, well, that's what everybody is kind of going through. You know, we all have these wounds, these hidden fears, and these deep seated feelings that have come from trauma. And we're trying to deal with them as best we can. And sometimes they spill over onto other people, or we're holding them inside, and that makes our bodies break down because it's too much for these vehicles to contain. Or we're separating ourselves from others, and we're going off to the mountaintop to meditate and consider ourselves better because we're not engaged in that chaos and conflict anymore. And all of those things are kind of a dance around what really serves us. And it really serves us to get down and dirty with adversity and develop forgiveness, means of forgiveness and healing for ourselves first, and then others that have been involved with us in the conflict and the chaos and adversity. And it does, as Paul said, the Apostle Paul said, it does serve a great purpose and offer us a great gift. And just as many people do their shadow work because they know that the greatest shadows bring the greatest gifts, the greatest challenges offer us the greatest growth, as many of us know that, um, it also offers us an opportunity to create space for empathy and forgiveness that we can draw upon. And that space is really inviting in our most divine wisdom, our most divine self to be present in this human body, in this human existence. And that empathy also brings in a ton of other wonderful, magical, and transformative qualities to our lives. We have to listen more, we have to feel more, we have to understand more, we have to be willing to give up preconceived notions of who we think we are or who we think the other person is. And before I end this, just to give you a little practical example of how this works for me and how grateful I am that it is working in my life now, that I have been able to, in addition to thriving from adversity, been able to actually embrace it and look forward to it. Look forward to being the diplomatic peacemaker, the one who listens more than talks, the one who can treasure those little breakthroughs, however small they are, whether it's just a look from a loved one where you know that they got it. They got what you said, even though you said it in a clumsy way, or that you feel their empathy for you in a tough situation, even though they weren't able to stand up and support you verbally or physically, that they, you know, that they saw what you went through, that they were a witness to that. And those are kind of like the overflow gifts of being able to thrive on adversity. And it really does increase our empathy. And I was going to give you an example, and here it is. I have been struggling greatly with a relationship with one of my children for many years. And in just recent months, in the past year specifically, but in recent months, even, just within a short period of time, I have noticed that all I have to do is just listen. And the pattern that she started with her talking and with her engaging me and bringing me in, I can see that now, that that's coming from her fears. And it's got nothing to do to me. And if I simply sit and listen to her and let her and just reflect it back to her without a response, without a reaction, that she is able to see it for what it is, and she is able to see it as coming from her. And it may be hard to connect those dots in terms of how I'm expressing it now. So forgive me for being unable to express it articulately enough. But I think if I were to sum it up, I would say that the, the best thing that I have learned from adversity is that I know how that feels. And so I definitely have empathy for anyone else who is facing adversity, and especially if they're facing adversity through me or my presence, especially if something that I have said or done, or even my very presence has triggered them, that I can have empathy for them being in that situation, facing that adversity. And the best thing I can do for them is to just allow them to see it for what it is, to see the truth of it without reacting, without defending myself, without correcting the way they feel or the way they see things. It's very beautiful. Thank you for listening. I am Lynn Nani, Dream Girl Writer. Bye for now.